In this next episode, the action is not what is missing, as we will witness a police officer putting someone in a chokehold and a simple traffic stop which turns into a full-fledged shootout between police and passengers of the vehicle. The following videos will keep you on the edge of your seat, so sit tight because we're getting started. Number 8. On February 4th, 2023, Patrolman Fuhr of the West Windsor Police Department observed a vehicle that was stopped on the road in front of Maurice Hawk Elementary School. After he activated his lights and approached the vehicle, he noticed that the driver was asleep in the front seat while the vehicle was still in drive mode.
Open up the door.
He had to knock on the window multiple times before the driver, later identified as 26-year-old Devin Gribben, was aware of his presence. He instructed Gribben to put the vehicle in park and step out of the vehicle.
Can you put the car in park, please? Thank you. How about you step out for me?
Gribben told the officer that she was heading home. When Gribben was asked if she had been drinking, she admitted to doing so earlier at the Ivy Inn in Princeton, New Jersey.
How much of it have you had to drink?
2 espresso martinis.
Okay. At your house?
No, bar.
What bar?
Based on her admission to consuming alcohol, Patrolman Fuhr afforded her an opportunity to perform field sobriety exercises.
And you're drunk?
Okay. Well, I still have to do the test. Do you not want to participate in the tests?
No.
Even if I check your eyes?
I'll admit to it.
Okay.
You can arrest me.
Gribben declined to participate in field sobriety exercises and even told the officer to arrest her. Gribben was placed under arrest for driving under the influence and brought to West Windsor Police HQ for further processing. At the station, Gribben refused to answer most of the officer's questions and refused to take a breathalyzer test.
Alright. Here, you're gonna hop out for me. Why'd you undo your buckle? Hold on, wait. Stop.
After she was processed, Gribben was released to her father after he signed the potential liability warning form on her behalf. She was issued the following summonses: DWI within 1,000 feet of a school, refusal to submit to breath testing, reckless driving, delaying traffic, operating an unregistered vehicle, and refusal to notify DMV of address change. Number 7. Lapel camera footage from the Rio Rancho Police Department shows a cooperative Matthew Chavez, 23, as he was arrested for the murder of Jordan Gallegos in the Premier 14 Cinema parking lot. The initial video shows officers arriving at the home of Chavez's sister after a 911 call was made.
I did something bad.
Okay. Can you come to your sister's house so we can talk about it?
Officers talked with her and her significant other, trying to get more details of what happened when Chavez came to the house. They said members of the household tried unsuccessfully to wrestle Chavez's gun from him before he left the house. They then began tracking his location on the sister's phone. As police tracked him along Paseo del Norte, the sister said that Chavez said Gallegos was in the car and that she was gone. They did not see her in the car. A call then came in from Chavez's mother, who said she asked him about taking Gallegos to the hospital and he told her she was dead. Officers tried to call Chavez on the sister's phone to try to get him to turn himself in rather than track him.
All right, Matthew. So when you get there, just pull up to the main doors, okay? And officers will make contact with you. Just listen to their direction. Just put your car in park and just keep your hands on the steering wheel and we'll give you directions, okay?
During the call, officers told him to leave the gun and put his hands on the steering wheel when he got there. The officer then told Chavez to call his sister when he got close. Outside, officers worked on a strategy for apprehending Chavez and recommended they meet him at the movie theater parking lot instead.
All right, Matthew. I want you to keep your hands up like that and start walking backwards towards me, okay?
During this conversation, Chavez tells the officer that someone is in the back seat and that they don't need an ambulance because they are gone.
20. Here's we have a female in the back seat. GSW to her.
Go ahead and pop trunk.
Right.
The officer stays on the line with Chavez until he arrives at the theater. Several camera angles show officers giving him instructions on how to get out of the car and where to place his hands. He is then cuffed and placed in a cruiser. Police shouted at the car, warning any person still in there to make their presence known. After several warnings, police surrounded the vehicle and opened it up. A blanket was pulled out of the back seat, revealing Gallegos' body. An officer took Chavez out from the cruiser and proceeded to swab his hands and feet for evidence, and then returned him to the cruiser. Number 6. New York City police have arrested an officer after he was seen on video appearing to use an illegal chokehold to subdue a black man in Queens.
Yo, stop choking him, bro! Yo, stop choking him! Yo, he's choking him! Let him go, bro! Let him go! Look.
The incident happened on the Rockaway Beach boardwalk. The video released by police showed an officer using an apparent chokehold on a suspect, identified as 35-year-old Ricky Bellevue, days after the city council made such maneuvers by police illegal. The officer, identified as David Afanador, was suspended without pay after the incident.
I told y'all to go enjoy the beach, right? And go have a good day.
Tell me where to go!
But you could just enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying?
You can't tell me where to go.
So where do you want to be?
I throw shit in your face.
Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be?
No, not you. I throw it in his face.
Where do you want to be?
Body camera footage showed Bellevue and 2 other men hurling insults at police for about 10 minutes before an officer rushed him. As police handcuffed Bellevue, Afanador appeared to crook his arm around Bellevue's neck for several seconds as he lay face down on the boardwalk. The situation was reported as the U.S. faces a national reckoning on racism and police brutality following the Memorial Day death of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police. 4 officers were arrested and charged in connection with his death, which sparked protests nationwide over continued violence against unarmed black men and women. The incident marks at least the 2nd time Afanador has faced charges stemming from alleged excessive force. The Associated Press reported he was previously acquitted in a case in which he had been accused of pistol whipping a teenage suspect, breaking 2 of the teen's teeth. Number 5. After an officer-involved shooting, the Arkansas State Police immediately took over the investigation and Officer Corey Obregon was placed on paid administrative leave. The shooting happened when investigators said 22-year-old Jaden Prunty was walking on a street.
We're just trying to get to know people also, a little bit of community policing, okay? Do what?
According to the body camera footage, Officer Corey Obregon told Prunty he was approaching as part of a drug interdiction operation in the area. The officer detected a strong odor of marijuana and instructed Prunty to stop and talk to him. The video shows Prunty walking away, denying that Officer Obregon could smell marijuana, while the officer continued to tell him to stop walking.
You're lying.
Come here. Hey, come here.
Smell marijuana,
Come here.
What are
Come
you
here, I will tell you.
doing?
Come here.
Eventually, Prunty ran, and the officer followed, and both fell to the ground. Prunty was on the ground as the officer tried to cuff him, and then the officer told dispatch he had a suspect, quote, fighting.
Come here. On the ground.
Prunty was reaching for something, and the officer realized it was a gun. Seconds later, a shot was heard, which investigators said Prunty fired, hitting Officer Obregon in the leg. Both men were then on their sides on the ground. The officer then pulled his gun and fired 2 shots, which appeared to hit Prunty in the head as both men remained on their sides. The officer then called for help from dispatch, saying shots had been fired. Prunty died at the hospital. The officer's injury was non-life-threatening. Number 4. In this video, officers responded to 500 Peter Street Southwest on a 3-year-old male shot. Upon arrival, officers located the victim who sustained a gunshot wound to the head. The child was transported to the hospital and listed ACB. Investigators were notified and worked to determine the circumstances surrounding the incident. The investigation revealed that the shooting occurred at the intersection of Peter Street and Chapel Street. 2 suspect vehicles were located on surveillance. One of the suspect vehicles drove next to the vehicle the victim was in and fired into it, striking the victim in the head. Investigators with the Atlanta Police Department's Fugitive Unit and Zone 2 officers arrested aggravated assault suspect Pentavious Wright without incident. Wright was immediately transported to Public Safety Headquarters to be interviewed before being booked into the Fulton County Jail on charges of criminal attempt to commit murder, criminal street gang participation, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and cruelty to children. Number 3. While on patrol, a police officer observed a black Lamborghini Urus traveling eastbound. A traffic stop was conducted for dark tinted windows because the officer was unable to determine how many occupants were inside the vehicle. The officer exited his patrol vehicle and approached the driver's side door.
How you doing? Brother, I can't see anything in this car. That's why I pulled you over. You have the registration to the car? I can't even determine what state it is either.
A strong odor of marijuana was coming from within the vehicle. This is when the officer asked the driver for his driver's license.
Who's Rashawn? Who's Rashawn? Is this a rental? No? I'm sorry? It's yours? But your name is Christopher. So who's Rashawn? What's that? Who owned it before?
The officer then asked the driver to step out of the vehicle due to a narcotics investigation. As the driver opened the door, the officer noticed a concealed gun located on the driver's side door, so he immediately took possession of the gun, which had a fully loaded magazine.
Come over here. You have a concealed weapon or no?
The officer asked the driver if he had a weapons license, and he stated he didn't. A vehicle inventory search revealed 3 grams of marijuana in the cup holder. Number 2. In this video, Deputy Mella was dispatched to the scene after receiving a call reporting a possible intoxicated driver in a gray Audi driving on an empty sidewalk. The caller reported that the driver, a white female, was stopping at green lights and hitting curbs while driving southbound.
We got a phone call that you were driving erratically on the road, okay? I got behind you here at the light on Holden in the trail, okay? I saw you turn here, I saw you turn eastbound on Holden. You made a right into that apartment complex. You proceeded to drive over the curb. You took the whole curb out. You drove over the curb, over the grass, and then you pulled in here. I don't know if you're lost. I don't know if what's going on.
When the deputy asked the driver to perform the sobriety exercise, she refused and didn't want to deal with the police, making things much more difficult for her.
Stop talking. Karen, listen to me. You're gonna step out of the car and I'm gonna fix your handcuffs. You slip out of your handcuffs one more time, you're gonna catch another charge. Do you understand me? I'm not asking you to speak other than yes or no. Do you understand? I want to speak to somebody else. No. Other than you. No. Get out.
The driver was subsequently arrested for DUI and taken to the Orange County Jail. Number 1. After a man is stopped by police in this video, the police officer asked the driver a few questions. Things go smoothly until the passenger named Wade is asked to come out of the car.
I'm doing good. Is this your car?
This is my grandmother's car.
Your grandmother's?
Godmother's.
Your godmother, okay.
The officer orders the man to get on the ground, but he breaks free and runs toward the front of a brightly lit tire store. Store security video shows the man running in front of the store, turning around to repeatedly fire at the pursuing officer as he flees out of sight. The officer's body cam shows him returning fire as he briefly hugs the tire store's wall for cover, dozens of gunshots echoing in the night. The officer runs out and fires again. More than 40 shots were fired during the 30-second chase and shootout. Wade is seen lying on the road nearby after being shot. The officer requests an ambulance, telling anyone still inside to stay put. He radios in that one suspect has been shot, while another has run. Joined by other officers, their weapons drawn, they are seen circling back to the vehicle, which is empty. Wade was initially hospitalized in critical condition, but ultimately jailed on 2 counts of attempted murder of a law enforcement officer, plus possession of a weapon by a felon and resisting arrest. It's clear that being a cop is not easy, and one wrong decision can change the lives of people in an instant. The last case we just saw could have turned into a deadly bloodbath, but fortunately no one was killed. Which one was your favorite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? And well, that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be a part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. Thanks for watching and see you next time.